Vivekananda Pictorial Stories.
Eternal Indian culture. India has been fortunate to be the place of advent of many great incarnations, saints and sages such as Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, Gautam Buddha, Sant Shankaracharya, Sant Gyaneshwar, Sant Tukaram, Sant Mirabai, Sant Kabir, and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and in present times Sri Ramkrishna, Sri Sarada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda. All these great personalities help preserve and spread this great Indian culture. They are our role models who should be emulated.
Prayer for a worthy son. In accordance with the Indian custom of asking for divine intervention for progeny, Mother Bhuvaneshwari prayed to Lord Visveshwara Shiva of Varanasi for a worthy son. Well-known lawyer Sri Viswanath Dutt of Kolkata and his pious wife Bhuvaneshwari Devi were blessed by the birth of a son whom they named Narendranath. Naren was born on Monday, 12th January 1863. He later became the world-famous Swami Vivekanand.
Advent of the great sage. Greatly influenced by Western culture, India was losing faith in her eternal Vedic religion. The Lord had to incarnate himself in the form of Sri Ramakrishna to re-establish Dharma. Narendranath, one of the 7 sages, Saptarishis, accompanied him in his great mission. Sri Ramakrishna himself disclosed his divine vision in which he described how he became a child and requested the sage to come to earth.
Narendra's childhood. Bhuvaneshwari Devi was an ideal mother who introduced her son to our great culture. Child Narendra used to meditate with deep concentration. So deep was his meditation that he was not even aware of a cobra in front of him. He had a compassionate heart, ever ready to help those in need.
Fearless Narendranath. Once, Narendra's friend was about to be run over by a speeding horse carriage. Noticing this, Narendra ran to his rescue and saved his life. When someone frightened Narendra and his friends, saying, "There is a ghost on the tree, don't play there," Narendra continued to play there because he did not believe in anything without verifying the truth for himself.
Narendranath, a seeker of truth. Narendranath was not content with knowledge acquired by merely reading books. He wanted to experience the truth for himself. He met many scholars, including Devendranath Tagore, but no one was able to satisfy him. Once, while giving a lecture in the class where Naren was a student, Professor Hasty spoke about Sri Ramkrishna's spiritual ecstasies. Hearing this, Narendra's desire to meet Sri Ramkrishna was intensified.
Meeting with the Guru. With a great longing in his heart, Narendranath came to Dakshineshwar to meet Sri Ramakrishna. In his meeting, he asked him, "Sir, have you seen God?" Without any hesitation, straight came the answer, "Yes, I have seen God, even more clearly than I see you. If you follow my instructions, you also will be able to see him." Narendra was dumbfounded.
Training of Narendranath. Narendra did not believe in image worship. When his family was passing through financial trouble, Sri Ramakrishna asked him to pray to Divine Mother. Entering the Kali temple, Narendra could see the living presence of the mother in the image. Forgetting everything, he only asked for knowledge, devotion, discrimination, and renunciation. Moreover, he did not believe in Advaita. Sri Ramkrishna touched him with his foot, and instantly Narendra could feel the divine consciousness everywhere.
Foundation of the Ramakrishna order. Sri Ramakrishna was shifted to Kausipur area of Kolkata for better treatment. His young disciples were engaged in his personal service. Once they expressed their strong desire to embrace monastic life, Sri Ramakrishna distributed ochre cloth and Ridraksh beads to his 12 young disciples, and thus the seed of the future Ramakrishna Sangha was sown.
Buddha's influence on Swamiji. Swami Vivekanand was greatly inspired by the life of Bhagwan Buddha. While meditating in his room, he had a vision of Bhagwan Buddha. He went to Bodh Gaya along with his 2 monastic brothers to practice meditation. On his way to America, when his ship was at Hong Kong, he visited the Buddhist monastery at Canton.
Sri Ramakrishna ends his play. Once, when Narendranath was serving his master, a thought came to his mind. Now, in this last moment, if Sri Ramakrishna says that he is an incarnation of God, I shall believe in it. Immediately, Sri Ramakrishna looked at Narendra and said, "Still you have a doubt. He who was Ram, he who was Krishna, is now embodied as Ramkrishna." Narendranath hung his head with shame. Sri Ramakrishna ended into Mahasamadhi on 16th August 1886.
Baranagar Mutt. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, his young disciples practiced severe austerities in a dilapidated rented house at Baranagar. To fulfill the mission of his master, Narendranath left Baranagar Mutt and started the life of a wandering monk to acquire first-hand knowledge of his country and people.
Face the brute. At Varanasi, when he was returning from the Durga temple, some ferocious monkeys started chasing him. He heard the voice of an elderly monk. "Don't run away, but face the brutes." Swamiji turned back, and in no time, the monkeys disappeared. Quoting this incident in his lecture at New York, he said, "Don't run away from the problems of life, but face them boldly and they will disappear."
God is the only protector. Swamiji was sitting on a railway platform without food for 2 days. A co-passenger sat next to him and while eating said sarcastically, "I enjoy my food because I earn money." In the meantime, a devotee came with food for Swamiji and said, "I was resting when Lord Sri Rama came in my dream and asked me to feed you. Please do accept the food." Thus, the Lord protected his devotee.
Why image worship? Maharaja Mangal Singh of Alwar did not believe in image worship. Once, Swamiji's meeting with Maharaja was arranged by the Diwan. Swamiji, holding a picture of Maharaja in his hand, asked his ministers to spit on it, but they refused to do so. Turning to the king, Swamiji said, "You are not bodily present in this picture, but they feel your presence in it." Similarly, devotees feel the presence of God in metal and stone images and worship Him alone.
Love of the poor. During his stay at Pune, Swamiji was the guest of Lokmanya Tilak. On his request, he gave a short talk at the Deccan Club. Everyone present there was astonished by his scholarship. Many came to listen to Swamiji's words for 3 days, but no one inquired about his food. A cobbler sitting nearby noticed this and offered food to Swamiji. Swamiji was touched by the love of the poor countryman.
Meditation on the motherland. Sitting on a rock at Kanyakumari and visualizing the problems of India, tears rolled down from his eyes. To free India from the shackles of slavery, ignorance, poverty, superstition, and untouchability, he found a way. Sharing our spiritual wealth with the West in exchange of material sciences was his dream. He decided to participate in the World Parliament of Religions, which was to be held at Chicago. He also received a command from his master in a dream to do this.
Science and spirituality. Combination of science and spirituality alone can help India to develop. This was Swamiji's firm conviction. On his way to America, he met Sir Jamshedji Tata and shared his thoughts with him. Sir Jamshedji was greatly influenced by Swamiji's ideas and started working on them. Indian Research Institute of Science and Technology at Bangalore was the outcome of that discussion.
Surrender to God. On reaching Chicago to participate in the Parliament of Religions, Swamiji realized that he was in great trouble. He did not carry any letter of introduction, nor did he know the address of the venue. He spent the first night in an empty coach of a goods train. The next morning, he went out to beg. But seeing a stranger, doors were shut in his face. He sat under a tree helplessly. One Mrs. Hale came from a nearby bungalow and took him to her house and did everything that was necessary for him. Swamiji was ever grateful to her and used to call her Mother Church.
Dazzling sun of knowledge. On 11 September 1893, the very first day of the World Parliament of Religions, Swamiji created history and glorified Mother India and Sanatan Dharma. He started his speech with the words, "Sisters and Brothers of America," which had such a powerful impact on the 7,000 strong audience that they applauded him, and the clapping continued for 2 full minutes. Swamiji stayed in the West for the next 4 years, spreading lofty ideas of Vedanta in America and in Europe. Harmony of religions and the divinity of man was the main theme of his message.
Love for the countrymen. Swamiji's great success at the Parliament of Religions made him popular, and the doors of wealthy people opened for him. Once he was invited to a dinner hosted by a very rich person. A well-furnished room was offered to him for rest. Comparing the condition of his own countrymen who could not get enough food to eat, nor enough clothing to cover their bodies, he could not control his tears. He spent the whole night only praying for them.
Secret of concentration. A group of boys were trying to shoot eggshells floating on a riverbank. Seeing their repeated failures, Swamiji laughed. In a gesture of anger, they handed the gun over to Swamiji and asked him to better their effort. With perfect aim, Swamiji could break all the eggshells, and every shot of his found its mark. Though he was handling a gun for the first time, he could succeed only because of his perfect concentration.
Vivekanand, a world teacher. During Swamiji's stay in America and Europe, many well-known personalities came under his influence. Some of them became his disciples, and many others were totally transformed. Miss Margaret Noble, Sister Nivedita, Max Muller, Professor John Henry Wright, Captain and Mrs. Seviers, Robert Ingersoll, John D. Rockefeller, Emma Calve, J.J. Goodwin are just to mention a few.
Training of disciples. Swamiji conducted classes on Vedanta for 12 select disciples at Thousand Island Park for 45 days. They were introduced to the higher and deeper truths of Vedanta philosophy through meditation, prayer, and the study of scriptures. He prepared them for a higher life. Some of them were initiated into sannyasa and brahmacharya, starting Vedanta societies in New York and San Francisco. He laid a strong foundation for his work and his future mission.
His compassionate heart. While visiting historical places in Cairo with his disciples, by mistake once, he and the others entered a red light area. Seeing half-clad women sitting on a wayside bench, his heart was filled with compassion. He looked at them with pity and muttered, "Poor children, poor creatures. They have put their divinity into their beauty." He began to weep. The women became embarrassed. One of them kissed his robe and said while weeping, "Man of God, man of God."
Return to the motherland. In 1897, Swamiji returned to India. After visiting Colombo, that is Sri Lanka, and Rameshwaram, he came to Madras, that is Chennai. The whole city was ready for his grand welcome. His chariot was pulled by the youth on the streets of Madras. He delivered 4 most inspiring talks in Madras, unfolding his plan of action for the development of India.
Service to man is worship of God. Through his powerful speeches, Swamiji was able to rouse youth power in India by lighting the lamp of patriotism in their hearts. Service to Jiva is worship of Shiva. This was his new mantra for this age. Many young men responded to his clarion call and fought for the country's freedom. Sister Nivedita dedicated her life to the upliftment of Indian women. Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi accepted Nivedita as her daughter.
Foundation of Ramkrishna Sangha. A piece of land was purchased in Belur village on the banks of Ganga near Kolkata. On 1st May 1897, Ramkrishna Mission, a charitable trust, was started by Swamiji himself. The motto of the Sangha is for one's own liberation and for the welfare of the world. Today, there are more than 170 branches of the order all over the world, engaged in various service activities with Belur Mutt as its headquarters. After establishing the order and consolidating his work in India, Swamiji entered into Mahasamadhi on 4th July 1902 at the age of 39 years.
Swami Vivekananda had once said, "1,000 men and women, fired with zeal of holiness, fortified with eternal faith in the Lord, and nerved to lion's courage by their sympathy for the poor and the fallen and the downtrodden, will go over the length and breadth of the land, preaching the gospel of salvation, the gospel of help, the gospel of social raising up, the gospel of equality."
Temple of Sri Ramkrishna. All religions lead to the same goal. This was the great truth practiced and preached by Sri Ramkrishna in his life. Therefore, Swamiji combined this ideal artistically by utilizing the temple architectures of different religions while designing Sri Ramkrishna Temple at Belur Mutt. Though the temple was constructed after his passing away, the original design was the one given by Swamiji himself.
Emblem of Ramakrishna Sangh. This emblem was designed by Swami Vivekanand himself. The wavy waters in the picture are symbolic of karma, the lotus of bhakti and the rising sun of jnana. The encircling serpent is indicative of yoga and the awakened kundalini shakti, while the swan in the picture stands for the Paramatma. Therefore, the idea of the picture is that by the union of karma, jnana, bhakti and yoga, the vision of the Paramatma is obtained.
Mahatma Gandhi said, "I have gone through his words very thoroughly, and after having gone through them, the love that I had for my country became 1,000-fold."
Rabindranath Tagore said, "If you want to know India, study Vivekanand. In him, everything is positive and nothing is negative."